everyone. My name is Stuart. I'm a CSU percussion student, and today I'm going to be doing a very brief early morning synopsis of a piece called Mallet Quartet by Reich. First off, Mallet Quartet was written originally for 2 marimbas and 2 vibraphones, or it can be performed by 4 marimbas. And the video that I watched was 2 marimbas and 2 vibes, and it was performed by Sandbox Percussion and uploaded to YouTube on January 2nd, 2013. However, the piece first premiered on December 6, 2009 at the Bela Bartok National Concert Hall. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. And it was originally co-commissioned and performed by So Percussion. Overall, the piece is divided into 3 primary movements, fast, slow, and then fast again, which is typical of Reich for being a minimalist and pioneering that movement, something that I very much appreciate about him. And for the first 6 or 7 minutes or so of the video that I watched, the energy is definitely up. It takes its time getting in. The marimba players start and the vibraphones come in later, which is another thing that is very typical of what Reich composes. And for the first 7 minutes or so, the tempo, again, like I said, is up. The energy is high. Lots of syncopation between the keyboards, and it has a very uplifting, sort of adventurous vibe to it, which I'll return to that point in a minute. Then we go into the slow movement at about 7 minutes in, and the dynamics get much softer, the tempo slows down, the feeling of the piece changes as well. All 4 keyboards are still playing. I believe that they dip out here and there and then come back in. And then at about 11 minutes, tempo gets fast again like the beginning, energy increases again, tempo and dynamics with it, and it ends on a relatively happy, satisfying note, quite literally. And so for me, a lot of times when I listen to a piece of music for the first time, my brain will immediately begin to connect it to other pieces of music that I've heard before, or other things that sound like it. And I definitely don't mean this in any way that undermines Reich's genius composition, but it sounds a lot like video game music to me, which I'm a pretty big gamer. I have been for many years. And the first movement and the last movement honestly sound a little bit like old school Assassin's Creed, which is one of my favorite games, but that's because, as I said before, it has a very adventurous, upbeat vibe, something you would hear while, exploring, going and trying to find something that is relatively important. I feel like this piece definitely tells a story, and that was the scene that I pictured in my head when I was listening to it. And the middle movement, the slow movement, honestly sounds a little bit like Minecraft, which I actually don't play Minecraft very much, but my sister does, and she's got me to play with her a few times, and so I'm very familiar with the laid-back kind of vibe of that game, and the soundtrack with the piano and everything. And it's a very calming movement, just kind of, it's very meditative, I would say. And overall, I think that this piece is, despite me being primarily a drummer as a percussionist, someone who's more akin to like drum set and snare drum and timpani, I actually really like how this piece is not too overly complicated, and how someone like myself who is not a very big mallet player can understand it and appreciate it for what it is. I actually think that if I took the time to learn this piece, I could probably perform it pretty well with maybe some friends. Yeah, that is a brief synopsis of Mallet Quartet by Reich.